All right, so grab your caffeinated tensors, everyone, because today we are taking a deep dive into GenMol, a drug discovery generalist with discrete diffusion.
Sounds intense.
It is, but fascinating too. We're talking about a new machine learning model and how it could revolutionize drug discovery.
Using AI to find new medications. Makes sense. That's definitely a hot topic.
It is. GenMol is a generalist model.
Generalist, huh? So it's not limited to just one specific task.
Right. It can be applied to various stages of drug discovery. That's what makes it so versatile and potentially a game changer. Instead of needing different AI models for each step, GenMol can handle multiple tasks, which could really streamline the process.
That's pretty remarkable. So how does this GenMol actually work? What's under the hood?
Well, it all starts with what are called safe representations.
Safe.
Yeah, it's a clever way to describe molecules. Instead of seeing them as a long, complicated string of atoms, safe represents them as an unordered set of fragment blocks.
Okay, so like building blocks.
Exactly. Like assembling a Lego model from pre-made blocks. This makes it much easier for the model to manipulate and generate new molecules, especially when you consider the next component, discrete diffusion.
Discrete diffusion. I'm vaguely familiar, but refresh my memory.
Imagine starting with a blurry image of a molecule and gradually sharpening it step by step.
Okay, filling in the missing details.
Exactly. That's essentially what discrete diffusion does. It predicts the missing pieces of the molecular structure to refine it over multiple stages.
So not just throwing atoms together randomly.
Not at all. GenMol's use of discrete diffusion is very strategic. It has this thing called bi-directional parallel decoding.
Okay, what now?
Basically, it means the model considers all parts of the molecule simultaneously during the refinement process. So it's not just focused on one section at a time, it sees the whole picture.
Got it. A holistic view, making sure all the pieces fit together properly.
Precisely. And this is where GenMol gets really interesting. It doesn't just tweak individual atoms or bonds.
Oh, what does it do?
It focuses on replacing entire fragments of the molecule. Think of it like a chef who can swap out entire flavor profiles in a dish to create something new.
That's a great analogy. So GenMol is experimenting with larger scale changes, which could lead to more significant results than just tiny tweaks.
Absolutely. This fragment-based approach also aligns with what chemists call structure-activity relationships, or SAR. By swapping functional units, GenMol can explore a vast chemical space much more effectively.
And that's key, right? The more efficiently it can explore, the faster it can find those promising drug candidates.
Exactly. It's like GenMol has a deeper understanding of how different parts of a molecule contribute to its overall function. So let's talk about how this all plays out in practice. How well did GenMol actually perform in the research?
They put it through a lot of tests. One was de novo generation, creating entirely new molecules from scratch. No pre-existing blueprints.
So just coming up with totally original molecular structures, that must be challenging.
Oh, it is. But GenMol not only generated valid and diverse molecules, but did it with impressive speed and accuracy. It actually surpassed previous models in terms of both speed and quality of the molecules.
So it's not just capable of designing novel molecules, it's doing it faster and better than previous approaches.
It's like having an AI-powered molecular factory.
That's a great way to put it. But GenMol isn't a one-trick pony, right? It can do more than just create new molecules from scratch.
Oh, absolutely. It also excels in tasks like fragment-constrained generation.
Fragment-constrained generation.
You start with a few fragments, like pieces of a puzzle, and GenMol figures out how to complete the molecule. It can be used for things like linker design, scaffold morphing, all sorts of things.
So it can build on existing knowledge.
Exactly. To really understand the significance of this, though, we need to step back a bit. Look at the history of AI in drug discovery.
Okay, let's rewind the tape. How did we get to a point where models like GenMol are even possible?
Early on, AI in drug discovery was pretty basic, using simpler algorithms and rule-based systems. Things like virtual screening, sifting through huge libraries of existing molecules.
Helpful, but not very creative.
Exactly. But then came deep learning.
Deep learning, the game changer in so many fields.
It revolutionized drug discovery. Suddenly, algorithms could learn complex patterns from data and actually generate new solutions. We started seeing models that could create molecules with specific properties, optimize existing drugs, and even design completely new drug candidates.
So AI went from being a helper to a designer.
And GenMol represents that evolution. Combining deep learning, molecular representation, and this fragment-based approach, it's a truly versatile tool.
A significant step forward. I'm really curious to hear more about its potential impact.
Well, before we jump into that, there are a few key capabilities of GenMol we haven't talked about yet. Things that weren't fully explored in the research paper.
Okay, like what?
Its performance in what we call goal-directed tasks, like hit generation and lead optimization.
Those sound interesting. Let's dig into those next.
That's good. Okay, so with goal-directed tasks, like hit generation, we're talking about finding molecules with specific properties. These are the hits that could potentially interact with a biological target, maybe a protein involved in a disease.
So it's not just generating any molecule. GenMol is finding molecules that have a good chance of actually being useful as a drug.
Right, that's the goal. And the researchers found that GenMol was really good at this. They tested it on a benchmark with 23 different optimization tasks, and it outperformed other methods in finding these high-quality hits.
So it could speed up that early stage of drug discovery, finding promising candidates faster.
Exactly. Now, what about after you have a hit? You usually need to tweak it, right? Improve its effectiveness, make sure it's safe. That's lead optimization.
Right, making sure the drug works well and doesn't have bad side effects. So how did GenMol do with lead optimization?
It did well here, too. They found that it consistently improved existing molecules, making them better at binding to their targets.
So not just random changes, but targeted improvements based on what the molecule needs to do.
Precisely. And this is where that fragment-based approach shines again. By swapping those fragments, GenMol can fine-tune how the molecule interacts with its target, potentially leading to a more effective and safer drug.
That's pretty amazing. Streamlining both the hit generation and lead optimization, that could really revolutionize the whole drug discovery process.
It's definitely a step in that direction, and it makes you think about what this kind of technology could mean for the future, especially when you consider the rise of personalized medicine, tailoring treatments to individual patients.
Right, using someone's genetic information to guide treatment. How would GenMol fit into that?
Imagine combining GenMol's capabilities with personalized genomic data. You could input a patient's genetic profile, the desired therapeutic outcome, and GenMol could design the ideal molecule for that specific person.
Wow, custom designed medication. That would be incredible. Minimizing side effects, maximizing effectiveness.
It would be a huge leap forward, moving away from the one-size-fits-all approach to something much more precise and targeted.
I can see some challenges, though. You'd need a ton of data and a lot of computing power to make that work. Integrating all that biological information with the molecular design process.
True, it would be a big undertaking, but look at the progress we've made in genomics and AI. It's not out of reach.
Yeah, the Human Genome Project seemed impossible at one point, and now genetic testing is becoming more and more common. And AI is advancing so rapidly.
We're basically laying the groundwork for this kind of personalized medicine revolution, building the tools and gathering the knowledge.
It's like creating a molecular internet, information flowing between the world of AI and the biological world of human health.
I like that. And just like the internet changed communication, this molecular web could change how we diagnose, treat, and even prevent diseases.
Okay, let's focus on this hypothetical research idea. Combining GenMol with personalized genomics, what concrete benefits could we expect?
Well, it could potentially slash the time and cost of drug development. Instead of huge clinical trials, you could have AI models predicting a drug's effectiveness on a personalized level.
So skipping that long, expensive trial and error phase.
Exactly. And maybe even more importantly, drastically reducing side effects. Tailoring the treatment to a person's genes, avoiding drugs that might cause problems.
Like a molecular bodyguard, protecting you from harmful drug interactions.
A proactive, preventive approach to medicine, anticipating problems and designing treatments to avoid them.
Shifting from reactive to proactive and personalized.
And there are already research groups exploring these ideas, using AI to design personalized cancer therapies, predicting drug responses based on genomic data.
So the seeds of this personalized medicine revolution are being planted.
It's exciting to see where it leads. AI has the potential to transform healthcare.
Before we get too carried away, though, a reminder to our listeners. This Novel Notions segment is a thought experiment.
Yes, we're exploring possibilities. Realistically, this kind of system would need significant technological advancements and would have to carefully consider the ethical implications.
Right, a balanced perspective is key. Embracing the possibilities while being aware of the complexities and potential challenges.
It's that balance that drives progress responsibly.
Well said. So, personalized AI-designed medications might not be a reality tomorrow, but it's certainly an area to keep an eye on. especially as AI, genomics, and drug discovery continue to merge and advance.
It's an exciting time to be in this field.
Agreed. Well, we've covered a lot of ground today, haven't we? GenMol is a pretty fascinating model, pushing the boundaries of what AI can do in drug discovery.
Definitely. It's generating a lot of excitement, that's for sure. Faster, more efficient, and maybe even personalized medicine.
From its unique design, using those safe representations and discrete diffusion, to its impressive performance in the research, it seems like it could really change the game.
It's pretty remarkable what it can already do, generating completely new molecules from scratch, refining existing ones, and all with that fragment-based approach that seems to give it a real edge.
We even got to speculate a bit about the future, combining GenMol with personalized genomic data, designing drugs tailored to an individual's needs. That's a powerful idea.
It is, though it's important to remember that we were in novel notions territory there.
Huh.
Still a lot of work to do before that becomes reality.
Right, a lot of challenges to overcome. But the research on GenMol shows what's possible, what we can achieve with AI in drug discovery.
For anyone who wants to learn more and dive into the technical details, we have a link to the paper in the show notes.
Yeah, it's a dense paper, but worth the read if you're interested in the nitty-gritty of how GenMol works.
And hey, maybe this episode will inspire some new research ideas. Who knows? Maybe someone listening will be the one to make that personalized medicine future a reality.
That's what we like to hear. Always excited to think about the possibilities.
Absolutely.
Well, that wraps up our deep dives into GenMol. Thanks for joining us today, and as always, keep those brains buzzing.